We're at Gamescom 2016, catching up with TaleWorld. Once more, Armand is here to tell us all about Mount & Blade 2, Bannerlord. It really feels like the last couple of presentations I've seen, the game is coming together. What's the feeling right now with the game? How do you feel about it?
I'm pretty pleased. I mean, it has been taking a long time, but that's mostly because Mount & Blade original series is a very, very complex game. And we are trying to work on pretty much every aspect and trying to make sure that everything is as good as it can be. So it's taking time, but I'm very, very happy with the solutions we come up with and the new features that we are adding. So I hope that our fans will like it.
Yeah, it really feels like there's layers on top of what was there, like everything has gotten an extra layer or two in the process.
Exactly. Our game's appeal is that you are in this medieval world from the point of a single person, but your basically what you do is not limited to just some action sequence or something like that, but you can be active in so many different levels. You can do trade, you can take part in faction politics, you can join a kingdom, and you can even become a king and try to conquer the world or what. So it has so many different layers already, and there is a very, very rich sandbox gameplay where a lot of things are happening, and the map is constantly changing. You see different agents, different characters doing various different things. So what we are trying to do is to make sure that all of that is kept intact, and also they are kind of even more meaningful and even more interesting. So for example, we have now a great diplomacy system where player will be able to basically negotiate different deals, to talk and basically offer different agreements with various characters. And we have an excellent political system again, which means that the player will be, when you join a faction, when you join a kingdom, you will be able to take part in the power politics inside the kingdom. So you will be able to achieve your goals in the kingdom, and you will have to be clever about doing it. So
it's interesting because it's not just sort of like diplomacy with others, it's also like internal politics. It's the influence system and everything is sort of feeding into each other, and it's very interesting because if you give someone else something, maybe your people aren't too happy about it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we realized that the really, really interesting aspect, one really exciting, interesting aspect is like the power politics within your own kingdom, because some enemy, what happens generally is that they make the game very interesting, but eventually I don't know, either you make peace or he's killed or something, so you get over it. But someone in your own kingdom, he is here to stay. So if for example you hate him or whatever, so it makes the game much more interesting to go into so you're doing some intrigue and I don't know, getting the king to kick him out or so. So it's.
Are you gonna save him when he's been captured?
Yeah. Those kind of things make the game much more interesting, and so the power politics inside the kingdom are going to be much more like pronounced or interesting in the game. And again, even if you are the king himself, you still have a lot to watch for, because all these vassals in your kingdom, your underlings, they also have their own agendas and they may have conflicts with each other. So you need to be very careful to keep your faction together and make sure that people don't quarrel or anything. So it's going to be interesting.
It's an interesting time as well, because apart from Mount & Blade 2, you also got Warband for console here in the booth. It's finally coming out on console. What's the feeling of that?
We are very excited about that. We worked really, really hard. I mean, of course, Warband was our child. It meant a lot to us. But for getting into the consoles was like a long dream, and we really worked hard to it. I mean, our team really, really worked to to make sure that it's as good as possible. So we are at Leicester, and I hope console players are going to like it.
And Bannerlord is also coming to console at some point, or are you thinking of that, or?
I definitely hope so. Of course, we got a lot of experience with our Warband release on console, so we do want to put the same experience into Bannerlord as well, but we don't have an agreement right now, so but we hope to get there.
Once it's been finished and out on PC, then you can look into that perhaps.
Yeah, probably. It's a long process, so you need to make sure that make sure that the game is actually translated into console. So it's not usually easy, but we know what works and what doesn't. So we hope it will be good.
I hate to put any pressure on you, but could you give us like an estimate time when we might get to play Mountain Blade 2, or when it's coming out, or am I putting you on the spot now?
Well, we want to, of course, release it as soon as possible, but we also don't want to, I mean, after putting all this work, we don't want to release something that's not polished enough or will disappoint our players. So we want to make sure that it's as good as we can deliver. So we are not announcing a deadline or anything to not put us into a spot where we have to, miss it or disappoint people. So unfortunately, we don't say anything. Yeah.
Are you thinking about early access or anything like or beta, or do you think you'll move on to like a full release when it's done?
I think we'll do some kind of either beta or early access or something. For Warband, we had a long beta process where a lot of our players really contributed and to make the game better. So we took a lot of that, but since now the game is so much changed and developed that we will need to do a whole new iteration again with a lot of players to make sure that we again have something that's really well balanced and has everything ironed out. So we'll definitely need something, either a beta or early access, some kind of thing where we work with the players.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure.